everybody for coming. I know that the train strikes have been a bit scary today, so I'm appreciative of you all coming in. So I'd like to welcome you to our event. We're here at BCS head offices in London, and we've got people online, and obviously you're here, and we're here to talk about unleashing innovation and career journeys in tech. And I've got two brilliant speakers here today. Nidhi Sharma from Sainsbury, she's head of engineering, that's right, isn't it? Get it right. And we've got Asia Sharif as well, who is a software engineer from NatWest. And yeah, we're going to have some presentations and then obviously have a panel discussion, and we'll try and get that through that as quickly as possible. So the first slide I'm just going to go on to is about BCS Women. I just wanted to give you some background. If you obviously, this event is for BCS Women. It's a specialist group here at the BCS, and it's a group dedicated to supporting female and non-binary tech professionals and tackling the industry's gender gap. BCS Women is the largest networking group for women working in computing in the UK, and we offer a range of support for women throughout their career, including events, conferences such as BCS Lovelace Colloquium, which you'll probably hear about online, and that's primarily for students. We offer professional networking, access to training and mentors. I've also done a slide about BCS EMBRACE. They are also another specialist group here at BCS, and they are supporting this event today. Their group looks at race and ethnicity within the tech industry, and as a group they work to make the IT profession more racially diverse by supporting the BCS and its external initiatives. So a little bit about me before we go on. So I'm not presenting today, but I am hosting. I'm currently chair of the special interest group in software testing. We call it SIGIST. I'm vice chair of BCS Pride, the LGBTQIA+ group. I'm also an inclusion officer for BCS Women. But my day job, I'm head of quality engineering for a company called Adaga, and we're in the AI data science space. And I also volunteer with groups such as UN Women UK and Women Tech Network as well. And I sit on council for BCS and Women Tech Network as well. Okay, I'm going to hand over to Asia. It's going to present for us.
Thank you. This one. Yeah. Hi everyone. Hello. Yeah. I'm here today to inspire, educate, and empower you all to believe in yourselves, but also let you know how I went from a tech newbie, from a non-technical background, to an award-winning, multi-award winning engineer now in less than 12 months. So yeah. Started. So a little bit about myself. Currently, I'm a software engineer at NatWest. I'm also the founder of Chainverse, which is a startup that I recently founded, which aims to revolutionize prison communication by providing digital and simple way for prisoners and loved ones to communicate. Further to that, I also am an engineering mentor, and I work with a lot of communities within the UK and outside of the UK to help promote diversity and inclusion and women in technology, such as Coding Black Females, Black Girls in Tech, BCS Women, and much more. So, my journey started in 2021. So during lockdown, the third part of lockdown started at the end of 2020. I was bored. I had nothing to do with my, 24 hours in my day. And I spent about 6 hours a day either reading or trying to go to the gym, because the gym within our building we were still allowed to use it. Every day I felt that my life wasn't really fulfilled. I come from a sales background. At the time I was doing sales, but obviously due to lockdown and unfortunately coronavirus, we were unable to. So I thought, what else can I do with myself? I'm an advocate and I love supporting women. And during my time in sales, I was always one of the top 1% women in sales. And I always advocated for women to be great within that industry. So during that time, I had a revelation where I was like, technology is ever evolving at the moment. So why don't I learn something to do with technology? And I didn't actually want to be an engineer. Somehow I ended up here. And that's because I have a very obsessive I guess, behavior, where one day I Googled what's the hardest thing to do in technology, and it said coding. So I spent about 20 hours a day, literally. I would sleep about 4 hours, but 20 hours a day teaching myself how to code. I chose the language Python, and from then I ended up making a LinkedIn page. On LinkedIn, I would just post my journey, how I was getting on with my 100 days of code, but also I would randomly see people who were engineers I wanted to look up to, especially women in technology. So in 2021, I actually started my first bootcamp. I joined Sky Women in Tech Network of Women in Tech bootcamps, which enabled me to learn full stack engineering. From then, I went on to Code First Girls nano degree, which again enabled me to not only learn full stack software engineering, but also data engineering and algorithms and data structures, which would enable me to then be able to actually pass exams in the future when I come to actually apply for roles. And I didn't realize how vital problem solving was until I came across that bootcamp. So I'm very grateful for Code First Girls. Without networking, without making that LinkedIn page and finding so many amazing women, I wouldn't have been able to know about such opportunities for people like myself. So I don't come from a privileged background. I actually come from a very underprivileged background. I came here when I was super young and we didn't really have much, but what was great is I went to one of the top schools, and that school taught me that to always achieve whatever you want to achieve in life. So I always carried that motto with me for the rest of my life. Hence, when I took the opportunity to learn to code, I never gave up. I will go into mindset further into my talk, but for now, just a little bit about myself. And regarding resources, again, I'll go into that. So the first thing I realized during 2021 and 2022 was there was hardly any women in technology. So every interview I would turn up for, I would always be the only woman. I would be the only woman in a headscarf, the only woman of color, to the point, unfortunately, one of the interviews I did turn up to, there was about 18 men in a room to interview you, and just me and 9 other male candidates. So you can only imagine how exhausting and overwhelming that can be for somebody like me who's completely brand new. What I learned during obstacles such as that, it's okay to be the only woman. I accepted that, and while I was in the room, I owned the room every single time. Like, I knew I was worthy of being here, regardless of my education, regardless of whether I come from a privileged background, regardless of my skin color or my gender or my religion. And thankfully, that mentality, having that not only growth mindset, but just believing in myself, allowed me to overcome that obstacle and be where I am today. Another thing, I do believe that there is confidence, humility, and beauty when you talk about your dark battles. So somebody like me, I actually ended up homeless during 2021. And regardless of ending up homeless, I still thought I can still achieve whatever I aim to achieve, that dream place I want to buy and win all the awards in the world and inspire hundreds of people. I don't know how I'd do it at the time, but I'm going to get there, and I am here 2 years later. Failure, I seen it as an opportunity. So I always saw rejection as an opportunity for greatness. Every time I was rejected, I was so happy. I would write it down on my Trello board. I have a Trello board where I write down every time I've been rejected, whether it was from a role or an opportunity, whether it was to talk or to mentor or any opportunity that I wanted to take on to develop my leadership or communication skills. I literally write down the ones that I got rejected in and the ones I was accepted and what the difference was. And this allows me to empower myself, find out, okay, what are my flaws and what are my strengths and what can I work on? This really helped me in my career journey, because in technology, I don't believe that it is smooth sailing, especially in engineering, especially when you decide, for someone like myself, being a woman, you want to take that path to go on, be a software engineer or whatever role you want to take on in technology. But because it's such a male-dominated industry, you feel not scared, not just scared, but you also feel that you may not be good enough. But I just focused on what I could control, which is learn to problem solve, learn my passion at the time, which was coding, seek opportunities, network. And one of my favorite quotes that carried me through Obstacles, Failures and Rejections was by Jim Rohn, which was, you cannot change the seasons, but you can most definitely change yourself. And that's what I focus on. And that's why I always promote, have a growth mindset during your journey. Now, this brings me on to the infamous imposter syndrome. You've all heard of imposter syndrome in the technology industry, especially being a woman. I did feel like a fraudster. Many times when I would win an award, I couldn't actually take it in. I didn't believe I was worthy. I would always ask myself, how is this possible? There's thousands of women, some who have been in here for 15 years in technology, and they did way more than myself. And when I started thinking like this, I realized that I would always put myself into burnout or a negative path, and I wouldn't seek opportunities that are meant to be coming my way. I would block them. So I switched my mindset from, okay, I'm suffering from imposter syndrome to I'm going to embrace imposter syndrome. I'm going to embrace that, yes, I don't come from this background. Yes, I might not have done mathematics or computer science at university. Yes, I dropped out of uni on my second year, but that does not obviously make the person I am today. So for me, the things that helped me overcome imposter syndrome was accepting the position you are in. It's so important to accept where you are and who you are. How you spend your days, of course, is how obviously we spend the entire of our lives. So for me personally, I always have a morning routine. I didn't realize how important it was till getting into technology. You find yourself, especially in engineering, I find myself coding maybe 12 hours a day, whether it's to do with my startup or my 9 to 5. And I never take a second for myself the first year. And I hit burnout, honestly, like at least once a month. Whereas now I have 3 hours in the morning from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. where I just spend time with myself, whether it's going to the gym, going on a walk, journaling, praying, meditating. And the difference it has made. Before, I never used to believe people in self-development who would say, oh, have a morning routine. I used to think, oh, this doesn't make a difference because I'm still in the same position. But once you build that habit, you build the habit of loving yourself, embracing yourself, and knowing, writing your goals and knowing where you want to get. Imposter syndrome slowly starts to fade away. So again, as I said, accept who you are. Believe that you are worthy. You are worthy of any path you take in your career. So whether for myself, my career in technology is evolving, I just know that I can be whoever I want to be. If I want to be as big as Elon Musk one day, then that can be my goal. And I know that one day I can attain it because over time of training myself that I can do that, and to be able to do that with all the obstacles and rejections that I have come across, I just know that anything is possible. Again, ask for help when you need it. I do find, especially with women, we don't know how to ask for help. We get worried that we might get judged, especially if we're in a position where we don't have particular requirements that a male Caucasian with 15 years in business or engineering might have. And then you have a woman like myself from a diverse background who has no qualification and is in the same role. If you feel that, how can I ask for help? Because again, it'll make me look underqualified, but it doesn't. Asking for help gets you very far. And thankfully, asking for help got me to where I am today. And a lot of my network as well, who are consistently excelling as founders, as engineers, as product managers, you name it. I do believe stay outside of your comfort zone. So whatever you want to pursue, keep staying outside your comfort zone. Do not get comfortable. I feel for myself personally, whenever I got comfortable within my position, I felt that I wasn't growing. I wasn't learning anything. So how can I help others if I'm not growing? I'm not learning. So I had to keep staying outside my comfort zone. So I took it upon myself to start mentoring people, even mentoring people in subjects that I might not have know everything about, like artificial intelligence, for example, or blockchain engineering. However, since I know a part of engineering, I knew that I was willing to learn and to make a difference. So I would literally apply to any mentorship program where I could volunteer as a mentor, and that would enable me to build my leadership and communication skills. But again, it was helping my imposter syndrome because I made a difference in somebody else's life, and seeing that shows that I am worthy and I am good enough of being here. And most importantly, just be patient with yourself. Find it super important. I did touch upon a fixed and growth mindset. So I do believe you always need to have a fixed and growth mindset in whatever journey you embark, especially in technology. With technology moving so quickly, sometimes you might find yourself in a rut. You might find, oh, I can't do this, I can't learn this. How do I keep up with the technology, but it's okay. A lot of us do feel that. I do believe that a growth mindset is needed in tech industry, because you have to believe that you can achieve what you set your mind to, regardless of your color, gender, sexuality, or religion. And these factors should never hinder your success or your future within the tech space and any career you pursue. And just always bear in mind that things will get hard, especially with things moving so quickly. And just keep pursuing that growth mindset. I can, I will, it's okay, I can ask for help. And yeah, take accountability when it's needed. So another quote that really helped me is actually discipline plus focus plus action equals success. And obviously we each have our own ways of success. And for me, success was consistently learning. So whenever I would learn, I would feel that I did something great with myself, because I could help somebody else. Like, I do get motivated by helping others, hence why I take mentorship so seriously. Because the more I help and the more I inspire people, the more I grow and the more I feel that I am becoming successful in myself. It's peace for me. Again, success can be anything for people in the tech industry, whether it's financial success or getting obviously the highest role you can, like a CEO or being a founder. That's amazing. But for myself, it was just peace and learning. So yeah, before we get onto tips, I do just want to say that motivation and discipline was something, again, I had to take into consideration during my journey. When I was learning to code, the first month, like I said, I would literally spend anywhere from 18 to 20 hours per day, literally just coding 24/7 a day, joining hackathons. Eventually that burns out. You have no fuel left. So what do? You have to have a list of goals. You have to remember why you're doing this in the first place. So my motivation was, there's 0.1% of people at the time coded in the world, and out of the 0.1%, only 10% were women. And out of that women, but the 10% of the 0.1%, less than 3% were women of color. So for me, that was baffling. How is that even possible? I thought the sales industry was horrendous, but coming into technology, I thought that is my motivation. I need to do better. I need to learn. I need to grow. I need to network. I want to become an engineering mentor and engineer that inspires and is able to write blogs and deliver workshops and talks, so that I can inspire, empower, and educate women, people of color, people from underrepresented backgrounds, and people all around the world to be able to keep going. So discipline kicks in here. So for me, having that goal, I knew that I had to get up. I still had to do that morning routine. I still had to learn. At the time, obviously learning to code, I had to keep applying, I had to keep getting rejected, and I had to keep facing obstacles. And the only way I got through that entire year, that 12 months, and as everyone always says, you know, you reap the reward in the end, right? And thankfully for myself, after that 12 months, I started getting the recognition. I started helping. I mentored over 50 women within the space of a year, so I could grow and I could help them grow as well. And that enabled me to found my startup. So discipline is really important. It's a choice. It leads to action, whereas motivation is just a feeling, which is only temporary. So I always stress this: feelings are temporary. They don't matter in 5 years' time. You should not be stressing about them. Focus on what you can control, and it's okay to take in obviously how you feel. And for me, I journal a lot. So if I feel that I'm burnt out, I will journal. I will take a minute for myself. I might go to the spa, might go to the gym. However, I always have that discipline that's waiting for me to restart and keep going, because I need to do better for the greater good. So yeah, I know it says tips for women, but tips for everyone. I'm really sorry. For me, tips for women, men, and non-binary out there is be confident, believe in yourself, seek mentorship. Doesn't matter, like, everybody needs a mentor, no matter where you are. You know, even Elon Musk has a mentor, you know, and a lot of us view him as somebody who's right at the top, Jeff Bezos. Stay outside of your comfort zone. It will help you grow, it'll help you excel, it'll help you learn more, and you'll be able to lead with confidence when you stay outside your comfort zone, because you can give more advice to other people who do not know how to leave their comfort zone. Strive for leadership roles. I will apply for leadership roles. I don't care if I've been in the role 3 months. I will apply and I will keep getting rejected till somebody says yes. It's like the law of averages, you know. Apply 100 times, 5 will say yes. So just go through all them interviews. Learn to problem solve doesn't really need to be for a technical role. Problem solving itself will enhance not only obviously your mindset, but conversations and also problem solving in every aspect of your life. I just think it's super important. For me, I had to learn to problem solve for technical reasons because I wanted to be in a technical role. And I even started off with a book that was literally called like Problem Solving for Dummies of Amazon. And I was not embarrassed to showcase this book. I was so proud of it 2 years ago. Always separate emotion from logic. I do always stress this again, that emotions are temporary, and always think logically. And if you find yourself in a position where you're very emotional, whether it's about your role or your career, then you should really try and strive for something that gives you peace. So for me, peace motivates me. Keep that growth mindset, because a fixed mindset will only keep you in that same position and more upset, where a growth mindset will allow you to grow, take accountability, understand where you're at and accept who you are. Learn the power of no. So to prevent burnout, always say no to things that you just don't need. Like for myself, I was consistently burnt out in 2021 to 2022, whereas during this last 6 months, 2023, I feel like now that I've grown as a person, as an engineer, as a founder, I've learned how to say no. I don't need to say yes to everything. You know, opportunities will come anyway. What's meant for you will always be for you. And organization is key. I will go on to how I stay organized. However, I do want to say the most important tip for me is network and surround yourself with people, because your network is your net worth. So yeah, this is how I organize myself during learning. So I basically had the Trello board, and I had, you know, when I was available, and within the Trello board, I would say how long I was available. And then I would split it into programming, reading and writing, things that I needed to just keep my mindset growing and learning, which would allow me to excel in my career. And Trello is really important. If you don't like Trello, Notion is more colorful and fun for people who like creative things. I'm just very basic. I just like, even this color was too much, but I just like black and white, typical back-end engineer. But yeah, my last tips, I would just wrap up with founders. So anyone who wants to found their own startup, again, women, people of color, there's very little investment into women and people of color in the startup world. However, that should not hinder your success. Again, for me, I actually applied to multiple accelerator programs and was lucky to be on one of the most sought out accelerator program in the UK, which was Ignite Accelerator Program, who accepted me and allowed me to not only work on my idea, but also build my MVP and be able to start pre-seed funding. I applied to many founders boot camps. Again, I got rejected to many. However, I was also accepted, which is amazing. So keep going and don't feel hindered, because everybody starts with an idea. And I do believe that during your time in technology and seeing how fast tech moves, it doesn't matter what idea you have, if you can solve a problem, it's really important to take action, because you never know where it will end up, and just never give up. Again, seek mentorship. If you're past the MVP stage, apply for accelerator. Attend pitching and investment rounds. Even if you're not ready, just attend so you can learn. Stay open-minded. I would also say find a co-founder. It will help with you as a person to grow as a leader and also learn a lot. And a co-founder can help you on days that you're burnt out, and they also will be there for you as you are there for them. Give 110%, and it's also okay to take a break. When I got sick, I took a break for 12 months, but I'm back now. So, and yeah, I wasn't sad with myself. My co-founder helped me during that entire 12-month period, and I'm very grateful for her. So yeah, so I do want to wrap up by just saying my favorite quote is, you are who you are in this world. You're either somebody or nobody. So choose to be somebody, and every day I choose to be somebody, again, who inspires, educates and empowers people to not only excel within their career journeys in technology, but just in themselves. It's so important, because first and foremost, mindset is always important to succeed in anything, and especially in tech. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so next up we've got Nidhi Sharma, and she's going to come and talk about her career journey. Use these ones.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. It was quite inspiring and quite a fresh perspective from us, Asia. My story is a little bit different because I'm not somebody who has just started. I have been in this industry for quite a long time, and I was just reflecting when you were talking about things which are available. At my time, LinkedIn was not there. We used to have newspaper sometime. I'm not that old, but yeah, it was like that. Okay, so I'll start with a brief introduction about myself. So when I think about myself, how do I describe, how do I actually see another aspect of Nidhi Sharma being there? So I start with being a mother of a 10-year-old boy. And that's a journey itself. And I'm really proud of that journey because my boy is very loving and he has all the human values and he's happy all the time. So that's where I feel proud as a mother. And that's part of my identity. I'm a wife, annoying and caring at the same time. So the idea to bring back my personal things to this innovation or the career journey is that your personal life, your family walks in with you in this journey, and they are your strength. So that's where I'm starting with my strengths to introduce who I am. I'm originally from India. Came to UK in 2014, 10 years ago almost, with my son who was 8 years, so he's 10 now. So at that time he was 8 months old. And when I was in India, I was already in IT industry. I was already working there as a programmer, as a teacher, as an architect. And then I came to UK here with 8 months old, with a husband who was without job at that point of time, because he was actually helping me to look after my career or to grow as a person and personally and professionally. So that's how it all started. And that's, you can see right now, I'm in Sainsbury's, working as a head of engineering, looking after supply chain program, where we are transforming the legacy, I can call it legacy, the current world, which is 150-year-old with business. Sainsbury is 150-year-old company. So we're transforming everything to AI and machine learning using third-party tool. Now, these are some pictures just describing a little bit, you can just have a look. So I have kept all this picture with a message, which is how do you innovate yourself? So I do innovate myself like this. I have a YouTube channel, which has nothing to do with IT or technology or industry or anything, which is purely about my passion to be healthy, to be positive, to improve yourself. So on this channel, I just post about things, healthy recipes, how to reduce weight in, what was this, 3 kg in how many weeks? In 1 week, I put on the weight again, but so that's kind of, another thing which goes parallelly to my career, because you're working for 8 hours on a particular technology in the leadership role. You're context switching a lot already. So when I sit down and think about what else I can learn or where else I can help other people or the community, I think I can share some tips or ideas which I've already tried and experimented on myself. And that's where this channel comes in. That's me. Just recently, I had a talk in the Sainsbury's Takeaway. I couldn't make it actually. This was a recorded video. I couldn't make it for the day because of the train strikes. But yeah, so that's the another thing where I want to keep myself involved. Just being, because that's one of my imposter syndrome as well, to be available in front of different people or to present things like that. So as Asia said, that come out of your comfort zone. So that's where I'm coming out of my comfort zone. And that's where I think I have challenged myself to do something like, I've done this a lot. But yeah, this is like recently. That's my family, my husband and my son. So that's another part of me. When I'm mom, I am mom. So I'm quite a strict and a tough mom in that way. And I do actually schedule my son's day routine in Trello. And I also use my robot sometime. So I'm actually preparing something for him where I have a flowchart diagram, how things will move. So you can see how I'm implementing all the things which I'm learning in my day job, applying it on my son, not on my husband, because he's also in IT and he understands these things and he'll challenge me back. And the last bit you can see over there is like me as a person. To grow in this career journey, I need to grow spiritually as well. I need to grow as a person as well. So when I'm leading a particular program or when I'm working with a lot of people, I need to be a good person. I need to have those values where I can connect with people. I understand their perspective. We all talk about diversity, inclusion, but how can we actually practically implement it every day by being attentive or by being focused on what we are doing and, challenging ourselves based on our actions. And in leadership roles, sometimes you're too stressed out. You have to answer to 100 people and you don't think about, what impact you're making on your team or the people with whom you're working. So that's where meditation, gratitude, just spending time with myself and growing in this spiritual journey is important for me. And I do that every morning and every night. So that's how I identify myself. All these perspectives are the innovation in my career. Now my career journey is quite a lot. It will take a lot of time if I go from 2006 to 2023, but I'll try to summarize it in a way that I started as a computer teacher. I come from India. I come from a lower middle class family. So I went to a government school, like a state school in here. So like a government school in India. I never thought that I will become a software engineer or programmer, or I'll actually come to UK and be a head of engineering over here or end up in retail industry at all. I've never thought about it. I always wanted to be a lawyer or, go to administrative fields. But this all started when I gave my 12th examinations. 12th standard is like when your schooling is done and you go for the college. So the last day of my exam, I came back, there was a newspaper cutting in my dad's hand. And he said, there is a women-centric program. So you can imagine from those days, people were actually not too old, but 2006 was the time, somewhere around 2005 or 2006. At that time, there was a scheme for females to learn Microsoft Office and Fox Pro and Visual Basic. I'm not sure how many of you are aware of these things, but that was like the first step in my journey. And the fee was really minimum. It was like 400 rupees, which is £4, not even £4, 4 pence you can say. So that's how I started. Just after my 12th class, I was 16 or 17-year-old at that time. So I went to this course for 6 months. I realized how much I love computing, how much I love programming. And just after that, I started teaching myself C, C++, and then Java. So I joined a library from where I used to buy to just borrow all the books for Java. So I love Java. I started loving Java. And when I used to sleep, so everybody who starts programming, they know we solve the prime number, we solve even and odd number and those things. So I started from there. But later I realized that when I sleep, I dream about, solving programs. So I was building a project for Delhi Transport Service. in India. You know, Delhi is a capital of India. So there was a bus service. So I was actually making a project for them. And every night I used to sleep, I actually end up having, you know, some solution for next day, code it, sleep, have a dream of the solution, code it. So I was in that loop for a month or so, but I really enjoyed that time because I was learning every day. Just after teaching myself Java, I applied for various jobs. As you said, I have actually applied for almost everything available in the world without even thinking that if I have experience or if I'm actually suitable for that job, be it a computer teacher or be it a software engineer or be it whatever was available in the newspaper or Naukri.com or sometimes India.com, something like that, whatever available websites were there at that time. So I've applied almost to everything. And I end up getting a job as a computer teacher in an institute where I started teaching. That's how my career started. And in the computer, as a teacher, I used to learn and then teach. And I was really satisfied because that's another level of satisfaction when you teach somebody, when you talk about mentor and coaches and sponsors nowadays, but everything starts when you actually educate somebody or be a mentor or be available for them to help them in their career path. So that's how it all started. Then I joined as a corporate trainer. So from a teacher, I become a corporate trainer where in Tech, there was a company called Tech Mahindra, and they used to have a corporate program where I was teaching Java, EJB, Hibernate, Spring, Struts, all these technologies. I'm learning them by myself and then teaching to these people. So in corporate, people were like already director level or head levels. They used to come and learn these things. Now the challenge was, as a trainer, you learn and you teach, but you have not been part of a tangible project or an outcome where you have delivered something or where somebody using your project or your product. So that's where I challenged myself to go into the software engineering field. And this all started with one of the company where I've applied for the role. Usually, if in India, especially here, now the world is changing. So if you do not have a degree, you still learn the skill, you get the job. But at that time, almost everybody had an engineering degree. And that's where, you're not eligible to go into software engineering if you do not have a degree, specifically software engineering degree. I didn't have a degree. I just had a normal graduation degree. So I thought, let's get a degree. I have to get into this world. So I did a distance learning course for master's in computer application. So that's how I got my master's degree, but that was not useful. I mean, that was useful at that time, but nowadays nobody asks for the degree. Everybody asks if you got the skill. In the interview, they'll ask you for those questions. And if you can just answer, and if you show them that, yes, you are worthy and capable, you get the job. But at that time, first criteria was, do you have the degree? But then I managed to get a software engineer role. And you can see 2013, nothing but motherhood, just enjoying myself, my son. I didn't left my job, but I was on a maternity leave for quite a time. And then I thought, if I want to go back to the job which I was doing, I need to learn a lot. So again, after 2008, 2013, actually I had to restart my career by teaching myself an e-commerce tool called Hybris or SAP tool. My son was like not even 40 days old. Those time, I mean, when kids are not even 40 days, they sleep a lot. So that was a good thing. He used to sleep all the time during the day. And I used to learn. I used to learn the new version of Hybris. I used to call my friends, my ex-colleagues, ask them what's going on, which project they are working on, what's happening in microservices architecture and how Spring is taking shape and those things. So I used to just to get back into the market. Before that, I was preparing myself and I started interviewing for various companies. And if you put your hard work, if you put your positivity around everything, you get ample of opportunities. And that's where I got visa for USA. I got an offer to go and start my career in Germany. And I got an opportunity from UK. So that's how I ended up coming to UK. But the question is, or the thing which was actually important at that point is, I utilized my time because I could sleep with my son all the time, but he was sleeping already. So I thought, what to do? Let's just step up in your career, because I always wanted to learn something new, try something new. And that's how I came to UK. There was an imposter syndrome involved coming to UK because I'm a Hindi speaker, I'm not an English speaker. And then the culture is different. Also, not only just the competition is really high because just imagine if you born here, gone to the university in UK, you got the experience in UK and you're going for an interview, not just male, female or thing, but there is another level of competition involved in here. So, but then comes, how do you know your strength? What makes you unique and different, and what you can do more, which other people are not doing, or maybe they are doing. But if you put extra effort, you may get this. Usually people struggle to get sponsorship in UK. I got 3 sponsorship from different companies after coming here. So I applied for one. Then I worked for that company for a year. I changed the company after 1 year. And then I changed to Matches Fashion, which was a luxury fashion house. And that's where I got to know that fashion is also an element. It's not just you know things and you come to office and you have to behave in a certain way. You have to wear certain clothes and you have to be in certain shape to be here. But that's all was in my mind. Nothing like this works. It's all your hard work. It's all your unique identity and how you solve problems around you and for how you help other people. So that's where I ended up having a technical manager role in Matches Fashion. And then during pandemic, from the day pandemic starts, that was my first day joining Sainsbury's as an engineering manager. And if you look at it from 2017 onwards, I started my career in leadership. Before that, I was an individual contributor. I was a software engineer. I was a hybrid architect. I was a trainer. Everywhere I was an individual contributor. Now comes the element of growing people, bringing people together in your journey or with you and helping them to be better at whatever they are doing. And I got to know about it that I'm actually very good with people. I love working with people. I love making others grow and shine. And that's my personality, that I feel happy when somebody else in my team is stepping up for something. It could be for anything. It could be as a technical person or as a leadership role, whatever it is. And I started actually liking the line management, people aspects and leadership role more than coding. So you can imagine I'm hands-off now. I'm not into coding anymore. But I'm very much involved into solution designs and understanding what's going on in this new world of AI and machine learning and how Python and all those languages are working. But I'm not getting my hands dirty anymore. But I am very much a people person. I work with 7 teams right now. And I think they're all happy with me. But if you get an opportunity, you can ask them. But I love working with people. I love the leadership role. that's where I'll give 3 or 4 points. You know why it is important to trying almost everything before settling down with who you really are. So I have done a lot during my career. I have always challenged myself. I've always come out of the comfort zone. And if we keep on trying different things, and if we always challenge ourselves, one day we'll definitely get to know who we really are. So the self-awareness is the key. We need to be aware about our strengths, our weakness, and who we are as a mother, or as a leader, or as a self, for your self growth, for your mindset. So you need to just spend time with yourself and trying different things. And that's where failures are important. So if you don't fail, you don't learn. And it's important to be fail. It is important to get rejected from 100 or 200 places before you actually get that one thing which you really want to have. So the points I have, or the learning I had in my career so far, is to embracing failure. So acknowledging that they are crucial in your success. And I had many failures. I didn't talk about my failures yet, but there had been failures. And I have always learned from my failures to become even more stronger. Then embrace exploration. As I said, we need to try out various paths. We need to experience various things before knowing your strength. And that's the only way to discover yourself and come up with a new talent or new interest. So, and to give you an example, I never knew that I have an interest in the healthy eating, or knowing what makes you what, or what has what nutrition and all those things. But because I kept on trying different things, I end up knowing that, yes, that's something. When I cook, I'll cook healthy. I'll make sure my kid is eating healthy and those things. So that's like exploration. And they're helpful in my office or in my career as well. Because when I have to talk, I can actually share 100 recipes, or if nothing else, I can actually bring some ideas for my team to nurture themselves, which is also important than our day jobs where we just talk about deliveries and solutions. Nurturing relationships. So networking is a key, but during networking, nurturing relationship is more important. That's my view, because if I'm going to build or have, or, go into the networking, I'll go with the mindset that I'm here to give something as well, not just networking because I want to get something out of it. So that's where an element of building strong relationship and trusting other people and giving other people enough confidence to trust you goes hand in hand while you build a strong network. Embody authenticity. I have learned that I'm from India. I will not be able to speak the perfect English, but I know how to deliver my message. I'm confident about that. So my authenticity is I'm honest, I'm open, I'm hardworking, I'm problem solver. So these are the things which I can bring on the table. That's my authenticity. And I would love to see people, or I would love to work with authentic people where we don't have to pretend somebody else. We just be who we are. And that's what my lesson is. Because if we go and try to become somebody else or try to behave like somebody else, we lose ourselves. And that's not what we want. We want to let people accept us as we are, while we are also developing ourselves and growing as a person. Embrace curiosity, which is whether it's your personal life or your career, it's good to be aware what's going on in your surroundings, where the industry is leading, where people are going towards, and what's going to come in next 5 years or so that you are also prepared for that change, because change is the only constant. And if we, especially in the tech, if we do not evolve with the trends, we can't survive with the same knowledge we have. So it's always important to know what's going on and be with the, okay, that was the last slide. Yes, I think I have pretty much covered everything about myself. And I'm here today to give something to you and to learn something from you. So if we get the time in the end, I'm more than happy to take questions to help and support whichever way I can. And similarly, there are always opportunity to learn and to see different perspective. And yeah, thank you very much for being here. And thank you very much to listen to me.
Okay, thank you so much, Nidhi. That was really, really interesting. And actually, as I've got both of you sitting at the table, we're about to start a panel. And I've got some questions which actually, because of some of the things that you've brought up, we're definitely going to cover that in a bit more detail here. So I think my first question is for Nidhi. What are some of the key challenges or obstacles you faced as a woman in tech, and how did you overcome them?
So I would say, not as a woman, but as a person, I have faced the challenges where my personal circumstances are different than the people outside world, or if there is an opportunity, everybody has a different personal circumstances or a different priority at that time. So there had been instances where there was a good opportunity, but I couldn't actually go for it because I have to think about the work-life balance more than anybody else who was available or who could actually do that role, given the criteria. And then sometimes is like the challenge is that my mind is blocking me, because I feel like this particular role or this particular opportunity do require a lot of not just hard work, but the time, which I may not have given my circumstances. And that's where I've just stopped myself, which is not the case anymore. I feel like it's always good to try and then leave, then just not try and just accept the failure or assume something and do not go for it. And the example is when I have to come from India to UK with an 8 months old, there was two options for me. One option was just to think about, how can I go to a new country and raise my son and do my job or be a working mom. Whereas in India, I have support from my family. I can leave my son with my mom and all those things. But I've decided that let's take that challenge. Let's see what will happen. At max or worst case, we'll come back to India. That was, I think, was the biggest challenge so far.
Mm-hmm. So next question, Asia, you can answer this one first. Did you have any mentors or role models who played a significant role in your career development to date? And if so, how did they support you?
Yeah, actually, I did. So my role model, her name's Philippa Rodney. She's an engineering manager, and she actually is part of BCS as well. She does many amazing things. And I actually came across a community called Black Girls in Tech, and the CEO is actually my co-founder now of Network. And so that was two and a half years ago. And when my mindset then was very fixed, like I said, very negative. And when I met Philippa, every week I would cry how I got rejected or something really bad happened, or all the people I was on the boot camp got a job at the end of the boot camp and I was the only one that was rejected, or I would reject it because I felt that this was not something for myself. And Philippa, I don't know how, I guess I've got her traits now, because when I mentor, I'm very calm and I lead. She was very calm with me and very nurturing and taught me so many things, from problem solving to how to compose myself in interviews. And I was only on the mentorship with her for about 8 weeks, but by the 6th week, I'd got my career at NatWest. And I'd also got an engineering mentor opportunity. And now 2 years later, you know, we're good friends, and I still learn so much from her because she excels so amazing in her career. You know, she went from like herself, starting off as software engineer to like head of engineering, and she faced many obstacles as a woman of color. But yeah, thanks to her like successes and her mentorship, I owe her. I wouldn't be here. So yeah, she's very important to get a mentor.
The same question to you as well, Nidhi. Who has supported you so far in your career?
Many people during different phases of my life and in my career. I'll take a recent example from one of my director in the current company, where we started the mentorship program, and my idea for that mentorship discussion was just to understand, you know, what has made him to apply for that role, and how somebody can step up to these roles, and what challenges they face. So the thing is, if we are going into mentorship program, we need to be very clear what exactly we want to get out of that relationship, so that we don't waste each other's time. So I was really clear that I want to know so that I can also step up or maybe try those things. At that time, I was engineering manager and was the director. So it went really helpful, because some of the stories we don't know about people, and what we see is we think like, you know, they have been there because they are so different, they're so intelligent, they are like, we made some things in our mind. And during those conversations, I got to know that he had many failures, he had many self-doubts and questions, and that's where I could actually have an honest and open conversations to overcome those things which were in my mind as well. I was not applying for head of engineering role because I had the assumption that I may not be as strong as other candidates or other engineering managers. But after having those conversations in that mentorship meetings, I got the confidence to apply for the role, and I got the role as well with this after the interview process. So that's one example of having a mentor and, you know, embracing that relationship. But there are some people in my career who don't know they are my mentor, because we never got an opportunity to sit down and talk about things. But I'm learning from them, because they are there and doing something which is inspiring. And sometimes we just learn that way. So it all depends, like, you know, how do you define the mentorship relation? And some of the mentors are available online. If I want, I'm learning about generative AI nowadays. And I would say that the person who has those online courses is my mentor. He don't know he's my mentor. He has just put down the course over there. But I would be grateful for that sort of knowledge and information available for us. So yeah,
So yeah, I mean, a mentor can be somebody you just email and ask them a question. It doesn't have to be something that's a long-term relationship. It can be very simple things like, you know, asking to be connected to somebody that your potential mentor, even if they don't know it, somebody in their network that they know. So it doesn't have to be that long formal relationship. And it can be a long and formal relationship. It can be a year, it can be 2 years. I've had mentees that I've been talking to and guiding for over a year, and we always seem to find new things to add. So, you know, there are all different flavors of mentee and mentor relationship, and it's really what you need at that time. And you can have more than one mentor at the same time. Absolutely,
for different things, different mentors.
And so you both alluded in your presentations to the power of networking. So, you know, when you're building a professional relationship, how important do you think it is to have a network to advance your career? Either of you can answer that one. Asia, do you want to take it first?
How do you find your mentors?
Me?
Not you especially, but
okay.
as a
Well, for me personally, I advise people to either reach out to people on LinkedIn that maybe they've seen somebody who interests them in their career journey. They may have talked about it. So I always tell people to try and apply that way, be cheeky. And, you know, there are other more formal routes. If you know of, say, women in tech groups that are running mentorship programs, you can apply through them. So, for example, there's Women Tech Network. We've talked about Coding Black Females before. They often run mentorship programs, and there are other groups as well that run mentorship programs. Just look online. Mostly they'll advertise on platforms like LinkedIn, and there are hundreds of them. You know, it's just, you know, find something that suits you, and hopefully you'll find a mentor. BCS themselves have got their own mentor network for members. So once you become a member, if you're not one, you are, you should join. That's a plug. You know, that's definitely something you should consider. But I'm veering away from the questions. So we'll come back to mentorship, or you can come and find me afterwards and I can give you some more advice.
thank you.
That's all right. But yeah, we talked about the power of networking. So yeah, what do you think? How important do you think it is for you to have that network in order to advance your career, being a woman in tech?
Yeah, I definitely believe in networking. For me, like I said, the first way I started networking was making LinkedIn. I do think LinkedIn is a very powerful tool to excel your career. Since making LinkedIn and reaching out to people in roles I aspire to be in, from principal engineers to CEOs, and making such friends, what I found was really important during this journey of building new professional networking relationships was to find people who can speak about you in a room that you're not in. And there's been so many times that I've had opportunities. For example, I've got workshops and talks coming up in Germany and Dubai over the next couple of months. And these aren't opportunities I saw myself. These are because I built relationships during networking with people I aspire to be like, who we have a great professional relationship, and behind my back when I'm not there and they're in a room where, you know, they're with other people who have certain events, they will always put my name forward, and that's where my recognitions and opportunities and growth have come. And at the time you feel like surprised, but you also know that, one, you're worthy, and you surround yourself with people who not only enhance your career, but they help get rid of imposter syndrome and help you feel and empower you to do whatever you basically want to achieve. And I think that's what's really important. I always stress that, you know, who you surround yourself with is like the person you'll be over the next 5 years, your future, and it's your network at the end of the day. All your habits come from not only yourself, but literally the 5 you surround yourself with. So for me, I make sure to surround myself with people who bring me one piece, but knowledge, because at the end of the day, like, applied knowledge is very powerful, and also people who will speak your name and shout it from the rooftops in a room where you're not in. So yeah, that's how networking happens.
What about you, Nidhi?
For me, the networking begins with your self-branding, and the self-branding comes what you have achieved, what you believe, and once you have identified yourself, once you have that awareness, once you have built that brand, and yes, practically LinkedIn is a good start where people just come and see your profile. That's the first step, but you should have, I think I saw that meme somewhere that in LinkedIn definition, now people are sometime not being so authentic. So you'll see something, but when you actually go to the ground reality, that you'll find it something else. So what I'm trying to say is you should have your knowledge, your hard work, your authenticity with you first, then take it to the next level and let people find you and you find people, and then build that relationship for both ways, where you can help somebody and somebody else can help you. So that's how I see networking. But for me, every day when you meet with anybody, you actually have some impact on people. And despite of being ample of opportunities online today, the in-person connect with networking will bring some more values, whereas online medium has their own ways to find people. So my take on networking is to be ready to work on your self-branding, then be authentic and bring a mindset where you are also going to support somebody or help somebody, then you seek it. Also, we need to be very clear when we say networking, what exactly we want to take out of that networking. Is it just you're seeking for a mentor, for example, but if you want somebody to give you opportunities or to speak about you when you're not in the room, that's your sponsor, because sponsor is different than your mentor. And if you are seeking some advices and you want to, you want to have general discussion, that's your coach. So having that clarity is important before we start building that network around us. So that's what my take is. But because during my career, I have met so many people, and this is already going on for quite a long time now. So personally, for me, it's very easy to get to know people. And because every day I'm working with, let's say, 150 people minimum in this role and in previous role. And then, but the most important thing is, have I actually built that relationship? Do they really see the value having the networking with me, or keep me in their follow list or follower list or whatsoever it is? That is more important. So if I'm not bringing any value to anybody, why would people like to network with me? So that's where I think it starts with myself, and then it goes to other people, and then it builds a meaningful relationship and network.
Okay. We have a question about imposter syndrome, but I'm going to tweak it slightly because we picked up on the thing about building personal brand. I think with that comes a little bit of imposter syndrome, because I, for myself personally, have felt when I was trying to figure out what was my message, or what was I trying to make people believe about me, or to see me as an authentic person. How easy is it to build a personal brand if you do, think that you're suffering with imposter syndrome, if you like? Asia, I'll go to you.
Personal brand. Accepting who you are will help you. Like my personal brand, especially on LinkedIn, I started putting effort into it and taking it to the next level in the last 12 months, because the first 6 months of my career switch, I realized that I had a lot of spiritual, emotional, and physical qualities that were dragging me down and that I was not happy with. So I couldn't accept who I was, regardless of the efforts I was putting in. And that's why I speak a lot on mindset. And once I started doing things to help me grow as a person, whether it be spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, over time, I realized imposter syndrome was fading away. Not that it's always gone. It just gets better. It fades away. It's not something you think about in your daily life, because you've put things in place to protect your peace, but also to grow as a person. Like you touched upon meditation, it's so important for myself and for Nidhi, as she explained, it really puts you in a really good place to start your day. So when I focused on these things and I came to building my personal brand, because I could own myself, I accepted who I was able to own my career, own my wins, own even writing a newsletter. I released a newsletter on LinkedIn, which has over 2,000 subscribers. And at the time when I released, I didn't think, oh, what if nobody subscribes? Because I'd worked on myself for such an intense period. It wasn't like once a day I'd work on myself. It was most of the day that I was awake, between 6 to 12 months, so that I could build this brand where I could not only help myself, but help others. So I guess regarding that is definitely focus on accepting who you are, because without accepting who you are, I feel that imposter syndrome so much more, because again, imposter syndrome is when you feel like you're a fraud, and if you can't accept who you are, you're only going to present a fraud, like you're only going to pretend that you're okay. One recent thing that I did recently, I took a break from my newsletter for about 3 months. I write every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks. I was very honest. I didn't just come back and post like, oh, hey, here's another article. I was like, hey, I had burnout. I spent the last 3 months relaxing. I'm back now. And because I'm owning who I am, I accept who I am, and I'm human. I guess the key takeaways there is accept who you are, grow your physically and emotionally, learn to just find peace and happiness, and your personal bonds will come, because you'll feel confident and secure in yourself in any room, in any post that you do, in any place that you are, and become, even if you become a mentor. So that's what was.
I'm aware of the time, so we'll.
Can I ask a question? Where did you do your master's degree? What modules did you cover, and what sort of entry qualifications were they asking for? Did you have to have a first degree in computing or something?
Yes, for me,
Yeah.
I did my master's degree from India, from a university called Sikkim Manipal University. So that degree required a lateral entry. So I did a course, computer course, as I mentioned. So after that course, the 3-year program was actually 2-year program for me. So master's degree in India is usually 3 years. So, but that was 2 years for me. And the modules were mostly around the algorithm, data structure, and then basics of programming, which was mainly C++, Java was not there. And there were few more which are not on top of my head right now, but mainly there was related to setting the basics of the programming language, but there was no actual programming language at that time other than the C++ and .NET, which was recently new. That's where I had to taught myself Java. So I knew Java already before even applying for that degree. And
On a lot of master's degrees, you have to do a project, the dissertation, which it can be up to 40% of the marks. Did you have to do a sort of dissertation or a project to do that?
No, I didn't have to do a project, but for the group of people, we had to come up with a presentation or whatever we have learned, because I was so I did this just to get the degree, and this was a distance learning education course. So I didn't go to actually the college or to attend any class. I just went to give the exam and get the degree. So there was a presentation involved as a viva sort of thing rather than building a. But I did the project for with other group for that Delhi transport service.
Was it expensive by Indian standards? The cost of the degree?
At that time, it was 10,000 per module, and there were 4 to 6 modules. So as per Indian standard, it was quite a good number. 50,000, you can say 50,000. So I had to earn from my day job to do that degree.
How much was in pound?
50,000 in pound, I think 5,000 pound.
That's a lot of money,
Lot
I
of
would
money.
think, in India. Here now,
500 pound.
a lot of
500.
masters are 15,000 now. MBA, a lot of charging 15K.
Here.
Mm. I used to teach on the MBA.
2006.
I used to teach on the MBA programs, and now they're charging 15K, I believe.
Yeah, it will be much more expensive in India as well now. So I'm talking about 2006.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Oh, it'd
50,000
be
was
about
very good money at that
probably
time.
about 8,000 then here. Yeah.
800.
800.
Yeah.
I'm going to skip the next question because I'm very aware of the time and Asia has to catch a train. But I wanted to ask, as panelists, and you've both achieved success, Asia in early career, you've done amazing things, and Nidhi, also your career is brilliant as well. What responsibilities do you both feel towards encouraging and supporting the next generation of women in tech?
Okay, I can start. I feel really responsible now. And it starts with, the people with whom I'm working day in, day out. So it starts from there. What impact I'm having every day, be it my peer, be it my teammates, or be it my leadership. Then the other responsibility I have is for the society. So if somebody comes and would like to connect with me, be it on LinkedIn or through any other medium, what value I can actually add in their career. And then I'm actively seeking opportunities where my learnings, my journey can be helpful for somebody. And to be very precise, I am not somebody who believes in, I know that women in tech is a topic, is something we all have to think about and is something where we all have to emphasize. But when it comes to my responsibility, I feel like I am responsible to give back to everybody, whosoever is ready to learn and to make me learn as well. Because if I look at Asia's journey and if I look at my journey in the starting, she has put a lot of hard work and she has achieved a lot in this duration. So there's a lot to learn already. So yes, I am very, very responsible. I would like to actively participate wherever I can. This is why I'm here today. And that's why I was with the Explore group other day. And yeah, I think I'll support whichever way I can be. I can try different mentorship programs. So to answer your question, how to find mentor? This is the way to find mentor. And there are ample of opportunities where you can meet people, but you being mentee, you need to decide whether whatever you want to get out of that relationship, you get the right mentor for that purpose. So yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah, just to go off your answer, for me also, I do feel, even though I'm past the early career, I feel like you said within the 2 years I've done so much, and the responsibilities I feel, because my passion initially started with helping people from underrepresented backgrounds. And when I say underrepresented, actually people from foster care, homelessness, diverse backgrounds, abusive homes, them type of children who don't get opportunities depending on where the school is at as well. So one thing I've signed up for recently was a program called Tech BCSWomen, which NatWest helps with, where it allows you to go into schools within your community to provide like talks and courses to educate the younger generation. I feel that that's something I'm so passionate about, because we can say women in technology and people of color and people from diverse background, but what's the data behind that? What specifically are you trying to target? So for me, people from such certain backgrounds like homelessness and foster care and domestic violence, it's really important for me to show them that there is opportunities and that there is light and that you can be somewhere. So even though I hit burnout a lot, I just know that my goal of helping all these underprivileged people and people from such backgrounds is the most important. It's much better than myself. It's much bigger than myself, and the greater good I focus on. So my responsibility is never ending. I love it and I appreciate it and I take it in, and I think so mentorship is so important. Like I never stop mentoring, and it doesn't matter. I have at least one mentorship every single evening or in the afternoon, and when I see the light that it brings to them and the difference it makes, and I've helped people come from different backgrounds to where they are today, it's helped me, it's fulfilled me as a person, it's brought me peace. So their responsibility is really important, giving back to everybody in the world. But I'm just passionate about certain things, and that keeps me going.
Okay. Well, I'm going to bring it to a close, but we've got a couple more minutes. Would anyone like to ask any questions? Okay, that's fine. We'll close it there and networking starts now and there'll be food and drink next door. Thank you so much, Nidhi and Asia. Appreciate you making the 3-hour journey here.